Okay, so thank you for that discussion on stress briefly. And on that topic, I know that there were some stories that you wanted to share regarding some clients and some very good clients of yours and some successful stories that you can share with us, and some that are very stress related. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay,
that's right.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Let's begin with a lady who runs a farm, a pretty big farm, where they grow asparagus, strawberries, and blackberries. She's got something like 90, 100 employees permanently, and she's hiring harvesters from Romania during the harvesting period. Let me start with a testimonial that she wrote me a few months after we started. And I read it to you because I think it's lovely. She wrote, I visited Dr. Wolf in an extremely difficult personal situation, with the only way for me until then being away from. Very quickly, in our very intensive, appreciative, and structured conversations, it became clear to me it needs the two words to make a difference. I'm still amazed by the speed of my change. People, things, and situations have come into my life that I did not expect. My personal situation has changed completely within a few months. The techniques I've learned now belong to me, as does focusing on what I want, not away from, which means what I do not want. She focuses now on what she wants. And I continue with the quote. With his emphatic and clear manner, the figurative language, and his humor, Dr. Wolf accompanied me through a difficult time and reminded me of my self-confidence. Unbelievable what is possible and what is in me. Thank you for that. End of quote. Dagmar, her name, started with being on the run, away from her farm, away from her husband. She was stressed with her husband because he was looking for one woman after the other, and she was stressed with her key figures in her company because they were illoyal, and she was stressed by employees who quit their jobs, all of that. Not a situation to be very envious about. In a very short period of time, she learned to look at her life a little differently. She started focusing on what she wanted rather than on what she did not want. She started to see her crisis as a tremendous chance to reorganize her inner and outer world. She started to understand how important it is for her to be present and attentive when doing her work and communicating with people. She started to live after a recommendation that she didn't know, of course, of a professor of surgery I had the honor to work with. He said, slow down, we are in a hurry. So by being attentive, by being present in the present, she realized that rushing around would make her slower, not faster. Mm. Dagmar was and is a delight to work with. She eagerly absorbed the information we shared and did her mental training at home scrupulously. After only 5 weeks, she said, it feels like a mild spring breeze is blowing through my mind. Isn't that beautiful?
That's beautiful, yeah.
Well, when Corona hit Germany, she was on the spot. She realized that the borders might be locked. And a few days before that, she chartered an aeroplane and had the Romanian harvested flown into Germany. So she attributed this to her ability to look at solutions rather than to the problem. And if I give a little bit of interpretation here now, looking at the problem is basically looking at the past, because the problem is already there. And if it's there, it's already in the past. Looking for the solution is looking for what can I do now and what can I do in the future. So that's a solution-oriented point of view. And this is what she did. And now she's pretty well off. And the other day she brought me a big package of asparagus, which was delicious.
So very happy client.
Very happy client, and I'm honored to have her as a client.
Oh, that's so lovely. That's so lovely.
That's it.
And there's you have some more to share with us as well, which we have time for. So the you work with another doctor or a hand surgeon.
Yeah.
Tell us the story there.
Yeah, Melanie is 40 years old, and she is a general surgeon and she is a hand surgeon. And initially she came to me because she thought she would have to also become a plastic surgeon. And I said to myself, well, this lady has a luxury problem. It only took 2 sessions or so, and she realized that being a hand surgeon was enough. She was always running around with the feeling, I'm not good enough. And this is a type of feeling that basically almost everybody in our society carries with him or her around. I'm not good enough to deserve to be part of a group, of a family, to deserve that people are interested in myself, all that kind of thing. This is what many people carry around with them, and so did she. And she was running and rushing from success to success without feeling successful at all. She always felt deficient. Well, it took only 2 or 3 sessions and she got this. I didn't tell her anything, but she understood that it is not necessary to have a 3rd specialty in surgery. So, but what happened then was absolutely unexpected, because she realized she was pregnant for the first time in her life.
Oh, wow.
And she was told by her gynecologist that she would never have a baby because she has polycystic ovarians, which is usually a good reason not to become a baby. But completely unexpectedly, she got a baby. And this was kind of a 2-sided coin, because her boyfriend, her partner, a carpenter, who he was not enthusiastic about the idea of becoming a dad. And he was surprised himself, of course. And so they got a little bit of issues between them. And then Corona turned up. So all of a sudden, what I called for myself a luxury issue became pretty existential. All the issues, like, do we want the baby? Do we want to stay together? Is our partnership solid enough to endure all the challenges? where do we want to live? 3 places in the country where possible, and we're always in discussion among them or between them. Can my partner earn enough money to bridge the time in which I cannot work? I am depending on his mercy to feed our baby and me. Do I really want that? So pretty many questions, aren't there?
Yes, a lot. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot. But to cut a long story short, Melanie started looking at her pregnancy as a completely unexpected chance that gives her a tremendous variety of choices that you can choose from. What a gift. That's what she thinks now.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So again, looking from the problem, looking to the solution, looking to the options that we always have. Sometimes seems we are stuck. We have only one choice. But as one of my teachers said, and I love this, awareness creates choices. As soon as I'm aware of that I have choices, I have choices. They don't just come, I have them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful story about Melanie.
That is a lovely story as well. Do you have, and before we move on to, because we want to talk a bit more about the benefits of the coaching with you and how this, because we're hearing these amazing stories, but we want to know how, the process of how this works. But do you have one, we have time for another one if you have anything else that you'd like
to share. A gentleman, a top manager with Royal Dutch Shell in Germany, a man you can say he's well-to-do. He came to see me because he had some medical issues that nobody could solve. All the professors couldn't solve the issues. Medically speaking, they were not serious. Like dizziness and tinnitus and palpitations and heartburn, all this psychosomatic stuff. And he wanted to get rid of it. He thought my job was to fix him. That's what he thought. But he pretty soon learned that's not how it's going to be. And he didn't expect what was coming. But being a highly talented man with a brilliant brain, he learned pretty quickly that it was his job to exert the mental exercises he had received from me. And I call this, it's like learning a foreign language. You need to learn structures, and you need to learn to apply these structures within real life. And then discuss what you feel and what you expect and what you're afraid of and what you hope. All this goes forth and back within the coaching. And then we all put it in the framework of the structures that I'm presenting and that I'm sharing. And it was, with him, it was a delight to see how meticulously he did his exercises. And it is still delightful to see the progress he's making. After only 8 sessions, his symptoms started to fade away.
Oh, wow.
This is after 2 months, and he had these symptoms for about 3 years or so. So this was pretty fast. Moreover, he discovered the enormous depth of the concepts that we shared. And now he is filled with the desire to learn more and more and more and more, because his marriage improved, because he learned to really attentively listen to what his wife had to say. All this kind of thing. Yeah. Being attentive, being in the present. This is something that we learn when we really understand what coaching is all about.
Which brings us on nicely to our next yeah, to our next part of the discussion.